Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 7 in our Industrial Grunge series for our book here. Now, this video is just sort of a cleanup, finish up kind of a video. We're going to do several things, and we're not going to do several things. I've made a couple of vetoes, and the 6 goes on the front. That's all I know. Anyway, so we're going to add some tags. We're going to put in our writing pad. We're going to make some custom writing cards, and we're going to add some ephemera, and yeah, we're going to do the closure and the cover, and I think that's about it. We don't have that much left to do. So the first thing on our list here to do is to go through and mark where you need stuff. Of course, we have that here, but go through and mark where you need stuff with paperclip, because that will help you out a lot. I know it sounds silly, but it will help you remember where you need to go back and add stuff. Now I've added a little bit, and I'll show you that. I found this round ephemera in the kit, and it's all kinds of mechanical industrial things, so I put them in here, and they looked kind of cool to me. They almost looked like CDs, and never mind. Anyway, and then we need a card for here, and we need a card for over here. We're not going to do this because this, I'll find a piece of ephemera or something to go in there. It just needs ephemera. It doesn't really need a custom card. This we're going to need to make a writing card for, and we should put something here, but I'm not really sure what, so we may not do that. Oops, you probably can't even see what I'm pointing at over here. We're going to put this here. This needs a card. This needs a tag. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. And we've got our writing area, and I threw a couple of ephemera pieces in there just so I wouldn't forget. Otherwise you could put a paper clip in there. I did add the cord for our notepad, and the reason I went ahead and did it is because I wasn't sure what it would do to the spine. I was afraid that it would pull on the spine, but since we're just using coffee dyed paper, I think it'll be fine. All you do is, well, let me finish with the intro. Okay, so we got there, we've got our card that we need to add in here, and then back here we actually don't have to do anything. We've got our bookmark. If you want to add some ephemera here, you might want to do that, and then we have our card, and then I threw a couple of little teeny tags in here that came with the kit. So we don't really have anything to do back here in the back half at all. Get around there. And then on the back cover, you could decorate this if you wanted to. I'm thinking about it, but I haven't decided what I would put back here. I kind of like the backs to be blank, so that when you're laying it flat, you don't have a bunch of stuff under there. So since I have the notepad written last, let's talk about it first. So I put this one in the front. Probably should have put it in the back because there's more room in the back. So let me do this. So you can relocate it in this particular book. So let's relocate it. All I did was tie a piece of elastic cord, and I used a knot. Now how is it not tight enough back here? They're the same darn size. There we go. And then I took some coffee dyed paper, which is here, and I just cut it the height of the book, and then I only had enough actually for one. You could put one in the front and one in the back if you wanted to. As you saw, there was enough room in the front as well. The original design was to put one in the front and one in the back. And so once I get some more coffee dyed paper, then I may come back with another cord and put another one in the front. But all you do is, I just folded some paper in half. I've got 1, 2, 3 sheets is all, and that makes 12 pages. So I'm not sure that you would need more than that. Then you just run the paper through the elastic like so. And there's your journaling space. I like it better in the back as well, because we have all this going on in the front. In fact, I think it would look better without the pad in the front, to tell you the truth. Now that I take a look at it, I think it would be better to just have the features in the front and then the writing in the back. So that's a good idea. So now we're going to add our word thingy here. Now I also, when I made the title of the book, for the cover, I made this in the computer, and I had another square because I was going to use it originally as the front and back closures, but they turned out too big. So instead of just getting rid of it, I thought, well, I'll just grunge that up and then see what happens, see if I need it somewhere. So I don't know which word I was going to add here. Probably journal. The words that came with this kit didn't really go with what I would consider like a grunge type topic, but they're all really cool looking. And I'm going to save the ones that I don't use, because I'm only using a couple in here, in my ephemera box. And I'll have them to go back to and use somewhere else, or to make clusters with. So I don't think I'm going to need those two. This, and I don't need that note anymore. But I was thinking about putting this here as a tuck, I mean a belly band type deal. Put this here as a little belly band deal. If I had a piece of ephemera that would fit through there. I think one of those little teeny baby tags from the back would fit through there. Oh, I have these little tickets. That would work. And then I think we have some smaller tags, or even that would fit in there. We could make a pocket out of it. We could make 2 pockets. That would be better. It would be easier. We're all about easy, aren't we? Okay, so let's do that. So let's decide. This is the cover. Let's see. So if we're going to make it a pocket, then we only need to glue 3 sides. Remember our debacle in the back of the book where I glued the pocket shut. So let's do this. I almost like the idea of this being a tuck. I mean a belly band. I'm going to make it a belly band. I can always put a tag in it and then just leave it at that and just not stick the tag all the way through. This has a feature on it that this is the top, this is the bottom, it's the top of like a pillar. Well, not like a pillar, but a pillar. let's put this on here. Then this note paper left over. It's just the right length. Oh, okay. All right. Not sure how that happened. Let's take this out until the glue dries. Then on the front here, we won't need this. On the front here, we're going to glue journal. And we're going to put it right here because we're going to make a little pocket out of it. Or a little tuck spot. So let's put journal here. You know what? I'm just going to put it in the middle because we're going to have the pad here, so it's going to be like a journal spot. Too bad we don't have a spot. We can put spot, journal spot. No, never mind. I'm being too cute for my own good. See, I had even inked it on the back and everything because I went through and inked all the ephemera, no matter what it was. And I had printed all the ephemera on both sides, even though I knew some of it was going to get glued down. But they were mixed on the pages, some of them. So I just went ahead and printed them with the double-sided printing that I can do. Okay, so we've got that glued on like that. We'll stick that right in there. You know what this is? All this is the extra off the end that I cut when I cut the width for the paper in the back. That's all that is. It just was a coincidence that this piece of paper, this 3x3, which isn't a 3x3 anymore because I needed to trim a little bit of it for something, so it's 3x3. Okay, so that's that. Let's look in here. We need a card for in here. Here's some two-sided. I wanted to tie this in back here, but I'm not sure. Just not sure. Oh, I've got it here. Oh, so that would be all right. Okay. So let's measure for our card. And I printed it on both sides. So now let's go a little bit wider than we think so we can gradually narrow it down because of the glue. And then we're going to need it about, wait a minute, we want the card to stick out the top. Let's do the width and then we'll worry about the height. How about that? I think we did it that way before on a different one. Take this paper clip off the floor. Ugh. Because my dog is laying there and I do not want him to pick it up thinking that it's food. Because he does that with paper. He'll go for paper. I don't know if he'll go for a paper clip or not, but right in the middle of recording a video, I do not want to find out. So there's our cord. We're done with that. So there's a scrap that's printed on both sides. So let's put it over there with our ephemera in case we need a small card for something. We're going to have another piece too. So I knew that was going to be too wide. Let's take it down a bit. Well, that's going to go in there, but it's could be just a hair, just shave a hair, like a 1/16. Okay, let's get this in here. Part of the awkwardness is because it's so long. I still don't like it. Well, we're going to put it in here temporarily. We'll flip it around. And then I'll come back and put a different card in here. Even though it sort of matches this because it's got the same splatters. I would rather get the one with the writing on it and make a card out of it so that it matches than have just the background one with the graph paper on it, because it just doesn't look like it fits in at all. So don't think I'm just going to leave that in there, because I'm not. So then we're just going to cut the height. And then we'll have our writing card. Now you could, of course, put a card that has, you know, the manila folder in the middle and all that, but the thickness, I think, would make it too thick to go in this little pocket. So we're going to do the quick ink act. Look, it almost ended up a square. Now, I was thinking about the card that goes in the end of the book, in here. And because of the way the closure is, we can't put the tab and all that in the center. We have to put it at the top or the bottom, which is fine. But this doesn't look like a charm book to me. I don't know about you guys. But, so I've nixed the idea of the charm. Now, I've almost talked myself out of a tab as well and just have the card stick out a little bit. So I'm not sure I want the tab sticking out either. But we'll have to take a look at it when we get to it. And of course you'd want to put something on there. Maybe it is still a touch wide. No, it's just me. Well, it doesn't look as bad when it's tucked in there, but because you don't want every single thing to be exactly the same. So I guess it looks better put in there than it did just the whole paper laying there. So anyway, okay, so we've got a piece of paper in there. Where's that note that I said I didn't need any more of that sticky note? I don't have, could put a blank one. That's awfully large. I don't know. Don't have any other word ones that I want or that I like. I mean, I like them all, but imagine and reel. What do you think? Do I have anything left skinny enough? Oh yeah, I've got these little tickets. So let's do this as a pocket. I've noticed this is a little crooked. Okay, this is going to be a little too far that way. If I slide it too far, we're going to get glue in our area that we want to be our pocket. You know what I mean? Like in here where we've slid this over. I think it'll be all right. Then we'll take one of these little guys. Okay. Cool little tickets. Running out of cool little tickets. I'm gonna have to print some more, maybe. Talking with the paper clip in my mouth again. Okay. And instead of adding the ephemera inside the file folders, I haven't done that yet. I need to go back and do that. That means I need a paper clip, don't I? But I did go ahead and print out the third file folder and put it in there in disguise. So I'm going to put a paper clip here so I remember to put the ephemera inside. Okay. Okay, we got these three here, we got that. Put that in there, writing space here. Card. Tags, still need one for the back. I wonder, let's see what we got here. I think I checked the other two and they're too tall. Oh, well, there I go thinking again. Look at that. Blink. One paper clip gone. All right. So there. Now that's done. And that's how you do this. You just keep going through, looking for places. Get our notepad in here. Now, I would add more paper, a little bit more, just because I can't tie the elastic tight. I just can't. So, and so that means that this is all done. So I think we decided this was done inside here. You could decorate this with some ephemera. I'm just going to go back through and take a look and see what I've got. It doesn't need to be fruit up. That's not really kind of what the theme of it is. See, I think that is that writing card or that tag. Okay, can't find it in my own book anymore. Nope, still can't find. Oh, it's the bookmark. Okay. Okay. That's why I couldn't find it sticking out anywhere, because it was the bookmark. Okay. So that's all of that. Now, for the big writing card, I had found another piece of ephemera that I thought that I was going to use on the card. And so I cut it down to size. Then I decided I didn't like it. So I'm going to put you on hold while my dog goes crazy in the other room so I can go check him out. Okay, crisis averted. All right, so like I said, I had a piece of ephemera that I was going to use from something else that I thought would look good with this, and then it didn't, and I had already trimmed it down to size. Anyway, I have the right size for the card, basically, is what I'm saying. So this is what we were going to use for our tab, and I realized just now that it's on the brighter paper. So we need to industrial grunge it down a little bit if we decide to use it. There we go. And a bright white 8. Can't have a bright white 8. Okay. So, this is the card. It goes in right here. And it's a little long still because I haven't trimmed it completely. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Now, the thing is, I'm thinking that I might want to just leave the card that length and just leave it. I'm not sure I want a tab. Let's fold it in half. I'm not sure I want a tab. Well, it's just going to add more thickness to it as well. I'm not even sure I can add this on here and still get it in. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this part while we're thinking about the tab. I'm definitely not putting the eyelet and the charm on it. Definitely. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to, oh, look at that. Looks like I just want to trim one end. This is a scrap paper that I had out of my scrap pile. And I just want to leave that little edge all the way around. Then we're going to ink the paper. Can't believe that was the right width. Oh, of course it was. Do you want me to tell you why? Because it was an offcut from one of the bigger pieces, and so it was the right size. Never mind. You know what I mean. because it came from another piece that was the right size. Okay, so let's ink this. And then, oh, we'll have to, I thought I had inked that side of the card. I'm still anti-tab, I think. Yeah, I did. Looks like maybe, oh, we cut the end off, that's why. Or I left the end uninked because I thought that I might have to cut it off. That's what it was. That's why it looked funny. Okay, so we're just going to glue this on here. We don't have to worry about it right side up, upside down. It's just a card. It's going to go sideways. So wait a minute. Yeah, this is the type of tab. If we're going to put it on, it would go on top of the paper. It would have to be up here. Oh, but then the numbers would be upside down. I was going to say I like it better with the numbers showing. Well, I'm kind of changing my mind about it. Let me glue the paper on. You want to make sure this is glued on pretty well, because it's getting pulled in and out of this little spot here. So you don't want the corners to curl up or things like that. Well, that glue smells really strong to me today. I can hear him snuffling around down there. The dog. Looking for pieces of paper. Okay, and then I just scruffed up the other side. So let's see what it looks like without it. I'm liking that because we're going to have the, let's see what it looks like with the tab. The numbers would be upside down if we put them on so that it would look good. Let's make sure it would even fit in there. Yeah, that's a tough sell. And then our closure. Gonna go around here. Yeah. That's the top of the card, see? It's not like I can move it up any higher. And the closure goes around where this line is. So, no tab it is. Not like I didn't try. I guess if you had something narrower that just stuck out a little bit, but I can see that there's a card there. It's not like it's stuffed in there. If your card doesn't stick out at all, then, and all you had to show that it was there was the tab, then you could go ahead and put the tab there, I would think. Okay, so let's double check my list. We did that, we did that, we did that. Okay, so now we're just at the cover. And this is the paper from the kit. And I used it as a fill for this and added the text. And I think it looks cool. So we're going to put this here. We're going to line it up with this line right here. Not there. That's too far over here. So we're going to do it about halfway in on that square. Then the tab is going to go here that we're going to close it with, and then that will be fine. So let's do the closure first, which is going to be a very easy closure. You're going to love it. We're going to take Velcro. I'm going to take black, not white or clear. We're going to put Velcro dots on these two corners. If you put it in the center, what happened there? Where's the other half? All right, works for me. Fuzzy loop. Loop meet fuzzy. Oh, fuzzy meet fuzzy. Fuzzy meet fuzzy. Okay. How did I end up with another fuzzy by itself? Look at all the fuzzies I have. That's insane. I have an army of them. They're like gremlins. They must have gotten wet, and now they're multiplying. Okay, so we're going to put one in each corner on the front. And then I wanted it for this line right here. And then I've got a fold right here where I marked it. So I want that line there. And then just going to push the dots down. Well, they're thicker than I thought. It was too late to come up with a magnet. A magnet would have been ideal. Didn't ink it. Okay. Oh, that's what fell on the floor. Was the paper. Yes, the paper for there. All right, and it's not readily visible. Let me put you back on pause again. Okay, you have to promise not to laugh. I'm on the floor looking for the piece of paper with the Velcro dots on it. And I couldn't find it. I'm saying very bad words that a person should not say. And my knee was on it. So we're gonna finish inking it. And it's printed on both sides. Because you're going to see the other side. Or you'll be able to see the other side. No, you're going to see the other side. Definitely and for sure. So, this is almost the last thing. We're almost done. What do you guys think? Unbelievable, eh? Okay, so we're going to put our Velcro dots back on. Then we're just going to flip this over. Oh, that card is causing some mojo with my fold. So now I can see it where I had folded it. Okay, more expletives, only they're in my head. Okay, let me go back around here. And we want to make sure these are lined up right here. Okay. So we're going to put some glue on it. Leaving the Velcro attached. And we'll line these up. Double check that everything is straight. Okay, and then that's our closure. That's all there is to it. All right. So now we need to put this on. I wanted to put this on first just to double check. I really am unhappy with how thick that Velcro is. I'm going to look around for some different Velcro. Why that's so thick? Ah, because I have been inaccurately calling it Velcro. This is not Velcro brand. So, note to self, in my mind, make sure to get thinner dots. You know, I was looking at this and I just realized this is a recipe. You know, if I put the dots farther back, I don't know. Just not super happy with that. Thought I was going to be super happy with that. And I'm not. And you see why we didn't put the tab on there? Would have just been a whole debacle. Now, if we hadn't put a card in there at all, then nobody would have been the wiser. Probably. Except other journal makers looking at it going, wait a minute, there should be a card in there that they forgot. Oh look, that means we're going to line it up here. Yeah. Yep, that works for me. And then, ladies and gents, we will be done. So we're going to glue this on here. I really did want that Velcro closure to come out better. I'm really not very happy. Sometimes you just have to suck it up though, eh? Yes, I didn't want it to line up with that and cross that line. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had it in the right spot before the glue dried. And that it was straight. Okay, so I didn't want the front to be all froofy either. It's all mechanical drawings and whatever, so it doesn't need a whole lot on the front. Thank goodness. But as you know, these tutorials that I make are mainly to show you how. They're not to show you how to put on flowers or show you how to do that. There are other people that are much, much better at ephemera, that type of ephemera, than I am. And so I'm sure that you would learn that craft better from them. Until I get better at it, I'm not going to show you, because then people would be laughing at yours instead of laughing at mine. All right, there we go. There's the baby. Baby's done. Baby is cooked. Okay, there we go. There it is. There's the back. There's the front. And I would say that it's done. So this video is done. This series is done. And I will see you in the next series, which will be just a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.